Greetings, everybody. Good morning. Well, we're doing a little experimenting today. But first, I got to clean off a place to do it. Bench stretchers, hand forged. Hoof picks. Wall hooks. Drawer pulls. More wall hooks of various sizes and shapes. Drawer pulls. Knives. Wall hooks. Little backstock for downtown. These are handles for different tools to make. On random road. Drawer pulls, which need to go in the mail today. More knives. Railroad spike knives for the tourists. Little bracelet, horse face bracelet with a copper inlay on the inside. Arrowheads. More wall hooks, more drawer pulls. Bottle opener. Dragon face. Hand forged nails. Generally, this time of year, I'll start selling a few of these because of the Easter thing. I never have quite understood it, but I'll do a few of them up because I tend to get people asking me for them, and then of course you do the crosses out of them, which is a little gruesome to me, but what do I know about it? And then of course the little fishes. I'm cleaning off a spot here, but while I was cleaning it off, I thought I'd show everybody some of the stuff. More little tourist knives out of the horseshoes. So I don't know. There's quite a bit of, I don't know, $1,000 or something better worth of blacksmithing right there. And then that's not counting this stuff. So, and here's the caltrops from yesterday that I forged. So I don't know exactly, because I haven't done this in a long time. We're going to just choose one of these today. So these are fairly done, but that's supposed to be Damascus. No, I don't sell overseas, I'm afraid. It's too big of a hassle. As unreliable as the Postal Service here in the United States is, Postal Services in every other country are worse. So you send something like that in the mail and I could never replace it and it gets lost. So this is supposed to be Damascus. And so we're going to do a little test on it today and see. So let me see, what do I need? So pattern welded steel has a pattern in it, and as you polish on these, the pattern tends to go away. So we're going to do a little test on this and see if I can draw the pattern out a little bit. And this is some nasty ass stuff. So you got to be very careful with it. Let me go grab some. This is acid. It's yeah, a lot of times you'll see them use it for etching brick. They use, oh, okay, cool. You can find them on the Etsy store. Sometimes I don't know if there's any left or not, but we're going to test this today, and if this works. Now I do have the fan going in the background because I don't really want to breathe this crap. I'm going to see if I can't bring that pattern out in that a little bit. With a little of this acid. And I might have to dip it. I might have to. But I wanted to test it first before I did this. Just take the time to set up a jig and hang the knives in the acid, because you got to get you want the acid to be right up about where the you don't want the acid into the knife. But I'll probably have to do that. I was hoping I could come up with an easier solution. Well, that's showing up. Oh, there, it's working a little bit. I'm good. We're experimenting today. There you can kind of start to see it. If this doesn't work, we'll have to come up with another plan. I'll probably end up having to hang them in an acid bath. Which sure smells like it's working. I wonder if I took a piece of paper towel, set it on there. That. I just painted that on that paper towel like that. Kept the paper towel moist. Maybe that wouldn't work. You think? Where's the little lemon? Yeah, I'll show you some stuff here while this is cooking. While this acid is cooking on this knife, I'll show you some of the other stuff I did. We're just gonna, like I said, this was an experiment to see if I could do this a little easier, because I've got 3 knives I've got to do, and I don't really want to have to hang them all. So see, I've got this one I got to do. Where's the little woman? My little woman. So see, this one's isn't quite as bad. The Damascus is kind of showing up in this one better. But I want to do this one too. Joel sure does a good job on those sheaths. I'm not a big stock removal guy. Those pattern welded steel knives aren't really my thing. I'm more of this kind of a guy. I like making stuff out of other stuff. Now I got a guy supposed to be coming around here next couple of days who says he wants a few of these knives, and I've been holding them for him. But if he decides he doesn't want them, I'm going to put them on them. I'm going to put them on the Etsy store. Man, Joel is just really upping his game with these sheaths, man. Can't believe that. This is the custom one I did for the customer. See, I would just, it's not that the Damascus doesn't show up. I want to freshen it up a little. I want it to really pop. And so I'm going to try this and see if I can't just give it a little bake. Doesn't seem like it's working very good. I might just have to hang them. A Diet Coke can, cut the top of it out, and then set up a jig. Fortunately, this one has a hole in it, a lanyard hole in it, so I can just hang them in the Diet Coke. Okay, so yeah, so there's those. What do you think? Yeah, that's a lot of time invested. A lot of time. Kind of like these. These are something that you guys have never seen. I did a video a while back, and I thought, man, those are so cool. I want to keep them. But I think I'm going to put them on the Etsy store because I'm hoping I don't ever have to use them again. These are fence stretchers. They call them a fencing dog. Back in the 1880s when barbed wire was developed, this was the tool that they came up with to stretch the wire. So you put your wire in here, and then you turn that, and that cants against the wire, and you can pull your wires together and to stretch your wire. I guess they used them for all kinds of different wire, telephone wire, and all kinds of telegraph wire, and all kinds of stuff. But I think these ones, because there's no teeth on them, these ones were designed for to hook on the barbs of the barbed wire, and then you loop a piece of rope or a come along, block and tack between, and you. So anyway, those are kind of cool. That's something you'll probably never see before again. I do some really off the wall kind of stuff like this. So I just did a video yesterday on these. These are called caltrops. And the caltrops have been used since the Bronze Age to they were kind of like a Bronze Age landmine. And the thing about a caltrop is, no matter how they lay, when they land, the point will always be up. So it doesn't matter how they are. So I guess I was watching YouTube today, and the Ukrainians now are making these and stacking them up, and somehow or another they figured out how those drones can fly these. So they're flying these into the Russian lines where they're on the roads, and they're dropping these all over the roads. And of course, if the Ukrainians are doing it today, the Russians will be doing it tomorrow. But somehow they figured out a way to attach these to a drone. So Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool, so I wanted to make some up. So I made up 2. And I guess they're using them on the border too. I guess the cartels are throwing them across the border to screw with the Border Patrol's tires on their cars. Now these are big ones. You know, that's a big. I'm sure that's, you know, I think that's probably about the size they used to use against horses back in the old days. But that's effective, I would think, for car tires. But same thing, I think they're making them up and then they're pitching them across the fence and into the road to screw with the Border Patrol. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm always trying to do something kind of timely. And then let's see, what else have I done this week? Oh, so here's a little something that nobody knows about. So these are some hand forged nails. And if you're interested in this, you can go watch the video I did on these. I've done several videos on these. So up until about 1850 or 1855, pretty much every nail was made by hand, using a tool called a nail header. And so I've covered a lot of videos of covered making nails. And why was I making nails? Well, we've got Easter coming up. And I've always thought this was a little gruesome, but I always seems like every year somebody comes and asks me for these. So I think it's a little weird, but anyway, I do 2 or 3. I always do a couple, 3 of them up, 3 or 4 up, because invariably somebody will come and ask me. So I did those up this week, and they'll probably go downtown. And then, of course, I did the fishes. I'm much of a religious guy, but I do some stuff for people. That's what you do as a blacksmith, right? And let's see, this was a project I did a while back. I actually did this on a live, I think, last week. I don't know if that's working or not. Might have to come up with another plan. So anyway, that's a tomahawk head I did last week. Oh, I don't think I did this one. I did this. Yeah, I did this one last week. More of a traditional one. These are a wrapped style head, where I took a rasp and you fold it around and then you together. And then this one's got a bit welded in it. So kind of a fairly traditional. And so is this one. Most of them were pretty small. You know, the steel was expensive and you weren't going to use any more than you needed to. So anyway, so there's 2 of those. What else? Oh, but some of the big, and you don't realize it because you're only selling them 2 or 3, you're selling them 2 or 3 at a time. I've got them in a couple of stores. So you don't notice how many of them you sell until you go down and have to restock. These are the wall hooks that I do, some of them. And somewhere along the way, I got like 5-gallon bucket full of these 9 and 12-inch old pole barn spikes. See, that's the head off of a pole barn spike. And the great thing about that is I don't have to mess with them. I can just throw them in the forge and I can forge them up. And I'm all about recycling and using old stuff to make new stuff. So there's my wall hooks. And I'm pretty prolific. So while I'm doing other stuff, I throw a spike or 2 in the forge, and in between doing whatever I'm working on, I'll work one of these. and you try to match them up. Some of them I do. Like this one, this must have been just pieces that was left over because that's not a spike. You can see that I drew the end out on that one different. And the same thing here. So what you guys need to know about wall hooks from a guy who's made tons of wall hooks, and when I say tons, I'm not exaggerating. If you're hanging clothes on them, you don't want to have a sharp pointy bit like this. These are great for hanging your keys or something on. But you don't want to hang your jacket on something like that because, or like a wet towel, because invariably after a while it'll punch a hole through your towel or your jacket. You want something like this. And these ones just have one screw hole in them. And that works all right. But what ends up happening is the screws eventually, as you're using this hook a lot, will loosen up. And then the hook will want to kind of spin on the wall. So I sell a lot of these because that's what people want. But my preferred way to do these is this way. With two holes in them. And of course, there's one of that's another one of those 9-inch, a 9-inch nail. That's a 9-inch pole barn spike. So if you try to match them, try to get them fairly close in case somebody wants 2 or 3 of them. This is called a penny scroll. Is what this is. This is called a penny scroll. And I guess you're supposed to scroll them up as big as an old school British penny, I guess. I don't know. But I had a small order for these this week, so I had to do a few of these. These are the drawer pulls made out of old horseshoes. So I got to put these in the mail. It's been crazy weather here. We got like a 1.5 feet. We had 18 inches of snow this week. It's taken me 2 days to get the car shoveled out. Yeah, you can find these on the Etsy store. This is one of the regular things I sell. Counted it up a while back. I think I've done like 2,000 of these. But I'm a little late on a couple orders because I haven't even been able to get the car out of the driveway. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, here's another one of the standard. You guys can go watch me build all of this stuff because, like, I'm doing this every day, so I'm documenting this stuff. These are the wall hooks, one of the wall hooks I sell. Little steer head. Happy little steer face wall hooks. I don't know if it's working or not. I think it's working on that side a little bit. What do you think? Can you see the pattern better? I don't know. I might try to warm up the acid a little bit, like get an old coffee cup and warm it up. That seems to make it react. I can't really warm up the steel. Give that a try. See what happens there. Okay, so oh, knives. We're talking about knives. So I do a lot of knives for the tourists. Cody's a big tourist. Cody, Wyoming. That's where I'm at. Big tourist place. And they want $20 things or $30 things. So these are old horseshoes that I make into knives. So this is how they come out of the forging. And I have something that I call forge to finish. So I get the knife forged just close to the finish as I can. Let's see if I can find finish. Get the knives as close to finished as I can. And that saves a lot of consumables when you do that. But see, they've got happy little horse faces in the ends. And I don't know why. I probably shouldn't, because I'm perpetuating the silliness of these. But I sell tons of them. And these are railroad spikes that I forge into knives. And they're terrible knives. There is no carbon. There is no carbon in one of these railroad spikes. Thank you. Yeah, I've kind of got a different way that I do those horse faces. And of course, you got to make up your own tools when you do that. You know, it's not like you can go down to Ace. See, like this one, he's kind of funny because somehow or another I used the wrong eye punch on him. So see how I used a round eye punch. So this is my normal eye punch here. And then I used a round eye punch on him, so it gives him a different look. I don't know. I like this one better. Anyway, so railroad spike knives, I do tons of those. I guess what I'm saying is I'm kind of a whore for money. I do whatever sells. Yeah, I'll probably do 30 or 40 of those this year. And then I got an order for some of these from one of the local knife guys in town who's got a retail space, so I'm doing a bunch of these up for him. A bunch up for myself. And they'll go into the art league. And then these are handles, and these are just components. These are handles that will go on different stuff that I'm making. Some people call these baskets. So I will use these for handles on lid lifters for Dutch ovens. And I've got one to show you, but it's in the other room in the display, so I'm not going to go in there and take it out. So I make these up, and then I will weld these onto a piece of round stock and make lid lifters out of them. This is where it all started. It's just plain old hoof picks. So the very first thing I had to build when I went to farrier school back in 1989, 90, I think the spring semester of 90 or 91, was hoof picks. So this is a tool that you use to clean out horses' feet when you're doing farrier. And that was the very, very first that I ever forged, is one of these. And I don't know, I bet I've done 1,000 of them now. But again, instead of doing knives, I put the little horse faces on them. But that's where it all started 35 or 36 years ago. It was right there. And just because I wanted to, and I should have done a video on these, and I didn't. That was really stupid. I wanted to see if I could do it. I really should have done a video on making these, and like a dumbass, I didn't. So these are arrowheads, forged arrowheads. Thanks for the likes, I appreciate it. So that's a leaf pattern, Viking pattern. This is what they call a bodkin point. And you start with a piece of round stock, about a 3/8 inch round piece of round stock. And that's how you make those out. And then you flatten that out and you use a mandrel, and you put the mandrel in there, mandrel those up. Like a dumbass, I should have recorded doing that, and I didn't. And now I'll never make any more again. That'll be the only time I'll never make any more. Now that I've made some, and I got it figured out how to dip, and I'll never make any more. What else do I got laying here? Oh, This is a little draw knife that I did the other day. I have got to put the handles on it. And it turned out pretty nice, but it's still all oily because I quenched it in oil. I need to temper it back. But I got it sitting here. That's a handy size for doing handles, like axe handles and stuff. That's a really handy size of draw knife. I've made many of them. I don't know. I've probably made 8 or 10 little miniature, with a 9-inch blade on them. Anyway, that's the thing about being a blacksmith is you're only limited by your imagination. And sometimes you knock it out of the park, and sometimes you don't. I'm going to get rid of this because this clearly isn't working, so I'm going to have to come up with another plan here. Let's wash this off. It's not sitting there. Okay. Let's get rid of this and this. Not pleasant, that stuff. When the sun comes up, I'll dump that out. Well, good experiment, but it didn't work. Dagnabbit. Now I got to come up with another plan. Yeah, this is pretty nasty stuff. I think if you heated it up a little bit, or I heated up the blade just a little bit, it would probably be more effective. In the past, I've always used vinegar and just let it soak. You get 30% vinegar, like pickling vinegar at Walmart, and I've used that. But everybody told me, oh, I should use this muriatic acid. Well, so far I'm not impressed. Got all kinds of stuff around here. I built here a bit that I did years ago. I do a lot of spurs. Of course, I do all my own tools. So, oh, I got so much stuff. I got so much stuff around here laying around. Tools. Here's a for opening up holes in wood. See, it's 4-sided. You sharpen the edges up. I don't know. They have a name for it, but I don't know what it is. But for punching holes through softwood, that works really good. And then, of course, these are the flint strikers. All different kinds. This is the ones I like best. They call that a French pattern. You can put a lanyard on that, and then you don't lose them. And then this is a kind of a funny one. This is my mini one that I carry in an Altoids can that I can put in my pocket. Little tiny one. And this one, I even stamped my name in it. But it's pretty small. But you put a hole in the middle of it so you can. It'll strike pretty good. You got to watch your fingers though, because you can knock the hide off of them. Anyway, just a small sample of some of the stuff that I built. Including all my tongs. I make all my tongs. This is a pair I did last week on the live stream. Viking style. Only I didn't draw out the reins. I welded them on. Lots of tongs, tons and tons of tongs. Well, let's come over here and we'll actually get some work done this morning, now that I figured out that wasn't going to work. So yeah, it got down to about 0 last night. It was not pleasant. Like I said, it took me 2 days to get myself shoveled out where I could get the car out. I finally got the car out yesterday evening. It warmed up to about 15 degrees. I will be starting the forge in a little bit, but I want to get some of this stuff. This is the minutia. This is the thing about being a one guy show around here. That one's pretty cleaned up. I got nobody to do the. Oh, there's the other caltrips that I did. Little rough ones. Everybody goes, you left those so rough. They look terrible. Well, yeah, you want them rough. You want them to have all that stuff on there because you want it easy to go in and hard to get out. And so, but those are just made out of some 1/4 inch, some like 2 by 2 or 2.5 by 2 1/4 inch strap. And then I just chiseled this out. You can watch me build those on my short that I posted yesterday. So anyway, yeah. So I think I got most of these cleaned up. I got a rivet. I got to put the rivets in these. Some of these are pretty late. I should have had them in the mail last week, and then we got the big snowstorm, and like I said, they haven't delivered mail in 3 or 4 days around here. So 2, 3. See, like that one's really stuck on there. Like some of that's really stuck. Those little boogers. So I'll have to get in there, and it just takes a little bit more pressure than you can do free-handed, but I test them with my hand to make sure that they're okay. Is that all of those I got done? Yeah. Look at that great big son of a gun. Man, that would mess up your tire. Holy moly. I made a great big one because as a display for I had a couple of video ideas, so I spent an hour yesterday because I couldn't go live. I couldn't go live yesterday. YouTube was punishing me. I was a naughty boy. And I guess I can kind of understand it. So there's the hat rack, and then our next little thing we'll do is I got to rivet a hook on here, but they work like that. So that's what I'm working on this morning. The minutia, the stuff that isn't blacksmithing, the stuff that is secretary work. These are about the most components thing that I do on the regular. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 components that go into these, and so there's 4 different things. Greetings, good morning. There's 4 different things I got to do when I do these. One more of those. I think at last count I've done something like something like 3,000 of these. Generally hate to touch them with a rasp or something because you end up with a shiny spot. Now, some of that'll cover when I put the coating on, when I put the old linseed on, and it's on the bottom side, so you won't be able to see it as much. Yeah. Okay. There's those done. At some point, I'm going to have to do these too. So these are the boot jacks, and I welded those up, and I got to clean all the boogers. And these are kind of a pain in the butt because there's a lot of welds on them. You're dealing with dirty old horseshoes. You'd think I could hire somebody to come in and just clean on these and do the minutia work. Everybody does real good on the first few, and then after they've done 100 of them, they kind of, it's like, and they end up missing spots. More stuff I've been working on. These are the dinner bell ringers. So if you order a dinner bell online, this will be the ringer that you get. And then I'm working on a couple of more. Some guys call these Viking knives, Viking style knives, but no Viking would waste that much iron on a knife. We call them flint striker knives back in the Mountain Man when I was doing Mountain Man stuff. So if you watch today, you've got to see a pretty good cross section of everything that I'm building, or at least these are going to be hat racks. I got to do 80 of them. So that was yesterday morning. There's 4 more to add to the bucket to do 80. Yeah, production work. The thing about that is it makes you good. Practice, practice, practice. 10,000 hours is what they say, right? So here's the hooks that go on the bottom of those. Right, we try to get them me and all my personalities try to get them as similar as we can. And I don't use a jig for these, I just freehand them because I still want them to look a little different, all of them. And so I could make up a jig and bend them so they're all exactly the same, but I don't, because I like the fact that there's a little difference in everyone. Unlike unlike this component. Like these all need to be the same because when you're hanging on the wall and there's no hat on there, you want them all to look the same. But I don't think the hook is such a big deal that they look all alike. If there's a little variance in the hook, that just shows that they're homemade. I got in trouble yesterday for these. Apparently on the live stream, you're not allowed to touch a gun or anything. Imagine probably I could see how that could be a bad thing. There's a lot of sick people out there. I could see how that could be how you can have some trouble with that. But these are not real guns. These are just red cutout. This is just a metal cutout. My friend across the street, Brady Hopple, does these for me. So these are a gun rack that I designed. So that's the top side of the gun rack. So you can put your rifle, hang that on the wall and put that in there. And then the bottom is this. So the gun rack gets mounted like that. And I think it's a better way to mount a gun. Instead of mounting them crossways on the wall like above the door or on the mantle like the old times. I think you could get a lot more guns in this way if you mount them this way, like if you're going to put them in a safe or something. So anyway, that's the latest design that I've come up with. And I'm going to try to put them on the Etsy store, but Etsy's weird, man. You got to... So I'm going to have to use one of these for all the pictures, because you can't use real guns in the pictures on Etsy. So I had Brady cut these out for me so I can use these to display, show the gun racks. So anyway, yeah, this is all the stuff about the blacksmithing that isn't about the blacksmithing. It's all the just trying to keep the floor swept is a full-time challenge in this damn blacksmith shop. I got a huge parking lot out here to the west of me, and that wind blows across that parking lot, and you can see the dirt roll into the son of a gun. So trying to keep anything clean in here is impossible. It's impossible, including me. So the dirty damned old blacksmith. All right, I'm gonna get a couple more coffee. Get me cookies, coffee. Oh, fuck, I forgot all the other stuff I've got that I've built up last week or two. I forgot the towel bars and the horseshoe wall hooks, and I got so dang much stuff I've done. Check this out. These are absolutely ubiquitous. Everybody's seen them. Horseshoe wall hooks. Of course I build them. Everybody with the welders have built one of these. But apparently everybody doesn't have a welder, so. And then here's the towel bar sets. So here's the long one and the short one, and I sell them as sets: toilet paper, hand towel, paper towel, or regular towel. And I put the leaf in there. Black, hot and black, just like my girlfriend. Hot and black. So anyway, yeah. So you guys haven't even seen a tenth of the stuff. The Pritchells, the punchers, the power hammers that I've built, the forge I built. If something happens and the world turns around tomorrow, I'm going to be a very popular guy. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you were talking about. I do have some, because I'm always trading on stuff. I do have some factory made tongs. These ones say Pakistan, and I don't use them very often. I was using them yesterday on those caltrops, but and they're all right. They're okay. But there's just something about using tools that you make yourself, you know? Something, I don't know, different. Don't want to build your own tongs when you get started. Yeah, Pakistan. If you don't want to build tongs when you first get started, there's a guy around, and I can't think of what the company's name is, but he plasma cuts out the blanks, and he'll send you the blanks and the rivets, and then you can just bend the tongs into anything you want, into any shape you want. And this is a set of those. I just wanted to experiment with them. And they work all right. I think it's like $80. You get 6 set of tongs for $80 or something. This is the very first set of tongs I bought back in 1990. Where's the rabbit? Oh, he's over here somewhere. That's the very first set of tongs I bought in 1990. I did have to weld them back one time here, but they lasted me about 30 years before I had to do that. These are diamonds, and I think that for the money, I think diamonds are about as good as you can get. Let me see the rabbit. I'll see if I can find him. Yeah, here he is. There's one of them. I got to get his body done one of these days. Yeah, that's half-inch round stock drawn out. That's a job. And then here's the other one. Somehow or another, I got a little porosity when I welded his ears on, so I got to go in there and I got to doctor him. He needed a little plastic surgery. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, no problem. There is so much, like you guys you can't even see all the stuff that's on the back, like on all those. There's another bunch of stuff on these. Like this is going to be a rain chain when I get done. So it'll have to be about 8 feet. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. But I'm working on those horseshoe. I've been working on those horse face horseshoes for the hat rack, so I haven't had a chance to work on these. Yeah, yeah, there'll be in 6 feet of those, in 6 or 8, in about 8 feet, there'll be about 28 horseshoes. And you can watch me if you go back and watch my videos. You can watch me building all this stuff because I pretty much film a little bit every day. Try to do at least a short video every day. Yeah. So. These are for one order of hat racks. One order of hat racks to a guy in Florida. He needs 8. So I'll take the hat rack wire and they'll hang out of these. That's half of them. That's half. rail plates before. Yeah, I have actually. Um I've used rail plates for base plates for tooling and stuff. I've never, they're pretty thick for me to be forging. So I've never forged them, but I've used them a lot for like bending tools and stuff like that. I don't work with a ton of plate. I've got a plasma cutter in here, but it's not really my thing. If I need plasma cuts, I go across the street and I have Brady cut them for me. That's how you start the leads. It takes a little bit for that animal to get heated up. It's just a giant heat sink. So anytime you touch it with something hot, I keep it about 40 degrees in this shop. And so, I mean, you touch that little thin piece of steel with that and just sucks the heat right out of it. Yeah, very little goes to waste in this shop, I can tell you that. That's about the minimum. I can't make a nail out of that because it's too short, and I don't have enough tong to hang on to it to draw the nail out. So anything longer than that gets used. Next step. So these hammers have been my go-to since I started. And there's a lot of fancier hammers out there now. When I bought my first one, they're $45. Occasionally, I'll tag them and put a link to these hammers on some of my videos. So I bought my first one of these. I think it was $42 or $43. Of course, that's been 35, 36 years ago. They're now $105. But I've got my original one. I think this one, and this is not the original handle, but I think this is the original. I think that's the original one. So I've been using that hammer for 36 years. Let's see. Found a brand new railroad spike, and my friend's son made it railroad spike into a bottle of perfume. That's cool. Yeah. My specialty, I do interior stuff. 80% of my business is drawer pulls, these hat racks, tons and tons of these hat racks. I've done something like 3,000 of these hat racks. Tons of these, tons of decorative towel bars. That's kind of my specialty. But I do everything. I've done a little of everything. Everything from drawn knives to full-on axes. It's momentum. So this hammer, this is 36 ounces. So once you have that hammer in motion, it takes a lot of energy to stop it and start it again. And when you're swinging this hammer 3,000 times a day, every little bit of energy that you can conserve is good. So I'll show you. So I'm adjusting this. Especially if I'm doing big swings. It's just easier to adjust the work, bump, start again. Adjust the work, bump, start again. Also, what I'm doing is you'll notice this hammer's got two different faces on it. It's got a flat face and a round face. Well, when I'm drawing stuff out, a lot of times I'm using that round face. So you watch me and I'll spin that. Okay? All right, so just a second, I'll show you. I put this stuff up so many times. When I say I forged a little bit of everything, I'm not kidding. So this is an axe my son and I did. And you can see I need to adjust that. I need to put that handle down on there more. I just got it hanging on there loose right now. That's an axe my son and I did here last winter. And then here's a war hammer that I did out of old iron rebar out of a bridge down in Casper. So yeah, a little everything. I do a couple of hundred knives a year. So I do a little everything. What's the difference? So the round face is for drawing out, or I use this as a die when I'm shaping stuff. So let me get something in here. So when I'm drawing this out, I've got this round die, and it allows me to get into places like that, where you can't do that with a flat hammer blow, but I can get in there with this one pretty good, okay? And that's not a real great example, but like this is a good example where I use that. So I'll use that round head to draw that in there and put that curve in there like that. It's much harder to do with the flat face of the hammer. But if it was me and I was starting out today, I would have, and I was going to start with one hammer, I would start with one of these. And I probably wouldn't start with one this big. They make a 2-pound one. I have cross. I use cross peen hammers a lot. I use the horn a lot too. But sometimes the shape of the horn, sometimes the work that I'm doing doesn't allow me to use the horn for that. Like this. See these? Well, I gotta have a round die on both sides. So I gotta have a top die that's round and a bottom die that's round to do that. But also, you use this to draw out. So when you're doing long draw outs, I'll use the round head, the round face, to move a lot more material than the flat face. You get more contact area with the round face in that soft material than you do with the flat face, because you're smushing out the material underneath your work. This is how I was taught to draw stuff out. So you've got your square stock like this, and you want to make that into a taper. Well, what you do is you put this over the horn, and you use the round top of your horn here. So this would be where your horn or your anvil is here. And then up here, you'd use the round face of your hammer. This is your hammer face. And as you do that, you get these shapes like this. Okay? And then you go back in here to this place. And that's how you draw the material down. That's why you use round dies. That's why you see a lot of rounding dies or half rounding dies in power hammers, because it's a lot easier to draw material down with a round face than a flat face. Now you can do it. Rick, can't think of what that guy's name is, but he always does. He does this on his with a flat faced hammer on the side of the hammer, and so you make steps like that, using a half face blow on the corner of the anvil. Two different methods to get the same thing done. Heard the hammer and anvil saw. Well, that I've heard the hammer and anvil saw. Leave. And that's how we do the leaves. Always. Always. Tons of leaf hooks. You know this. Always. I can't do any more horseshoes with the horse faces in them until I can find a horseshoe pile. It's got so much snow on top of it that I can't even see the damn pile. So I'm gonna have to wait until it thaws out a little bit to go out there. And that snow is a 2 foot deep over there. All right, so I'll show you how I do the leaves, and then we're going to call it good this morning. So we'll use the treadle hammer. I do both, mostly stick. And that's the leaves done. All right, everybody, I got to go grind, and I got to punch holes. And when I'm done, I might go over onto X. Thank you. Yeah, this is how they turn out when they're done. That's what I'm working on, is just some more of these. Thanks, appreciate it. But I'll probably go over onto X and go live there once I get the grinding and noisy crap done. There's no sense of you guys standing here watching me with my back over there to the grinder. So everybody have a great day, and thanks for coming to Blacksmith in Real Life. And probably, if I don't get kicked off, I'll be back on tomorrow morning. Thanks for the likes. If you like the content, slip over to the Etsy store. It's Cody Iron Works, and just like some stuff. Screw with the algorithm. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.